What's going on, boys? NealGuides here. Welcome back to another video. Now, in today's video, we're going to go over the weekly custom tactic update. I'm going to go through all the formations and show you the tactics and instructions for all of them, from the defensive phases all the way to attacking phases. There is a new patch coming out on Tuesday. I briefly tested it out on PC, so we're going to be making some changes before the patch even happens, just so you can get used to it. So I'll explain those as well. Just in case you're wondering, I'm still running my my group coaching sessions with Gamers Academy. I'm still running all my group coaching sessions at Tuesday, 7 p.m. UK time. Last week, we actually went over squad builders, and we actually got the coach session next week as well. Link is down below in the description. Don't forget, now you can save up to 20% with the discount codes. And don't forget, there's other people that do group coaches there. And you also get access to my masterclass series on Games Academy. Link is down below in the description. Don't forget, I do my coaching 7 p.m. UK time on Games Academy, but don't forget, this is just my group coaching sessions. But anyway, back to tactics. So I made some changes. Some things like for the 5-2-1-2 we've not touched, and some things we have changed in preparation for the patch that's coming out. Just in case anyone is new here, to give you a bit of an insight, you generally want a defensive formation, kind of a mid-tier formation, or one balanced and one bit more attacking, and you want a kind of ultra attacking formation. So it's actually in a specific layout. I start my 5-2-1-2 in a defensive slot because I'll be honest, I use this for both phases. You know, if I put my left back and right back on stay back, it's basically a 5 defender formation. Obviously, I don't play that way. But if I want to, I can always go to that system to be a bit more defensive. We've gone with balance, 55, 50 fast forward runs and width. All we've done is we just decreased the width just a tiny bit. I've just been playing around. I put it back to 60, so no changes really on a 5-2-1-2. If you want, you can experiment with pressure on every touch, but I would say just be very careful when you do use that. And the instructions I will go over. Now, remember, in this formation, the left back and right back are very wide when they go forward. Now, I'm telling you right now, this is probably the most fun and meta formation together. You know, when you use this formation, you may use the 4-2-3-1 the entire weekend league, and let's say you get regularly 16 and 4. You may, with the 5-2-1-2, get 14 and 6 or 15 and 5. But the amount of fun you have, it's a different level. So I'd rather lose a couple of more games and have fun. That's the way that I look at it, and I think you should also look at it that way as well, because for most people, it's either going to be rank 1, rank 5. Most people can't get rank 1, I understand that. So rank 5 is kind of the safe spot to go for anyway. So 5-2-1-2, and if you're a lower tier player, don't feel fear to use formation, because attack is sometimes the best form of defense. Both strikers on stay central, stay forward. The cams on stay forward as well. So you've got 3 players ready for the counter attack. Left centre mid and right centre mid stay back while attacking covers centre and thin edge of the box. Back 3 default, left centre back, right centre back overlap. The idea behind this is they just go forward a little bit when you do get the counter attack. That's the whole idea behind fast build up play. But they will not go beyond the halfway line. And the left back and right back, they will just go straight forward and be wide as possible. Think of these left backs and right backs like the Pedro and the Villa of Barcelona's team. So they're gonna make your opponents be very wide. So either your opponent's left back, right back's gonna be stuck to them, or they're going to be completely unmarked. But also, if you play against a 4-2-3-1, a little secret I'll tell you guys, if you play against a 4-2-3-1, it actually breaks down the formation. The reason why is with the 4-2-3-1, people defend with a lamb and a ram when they come back. If you have a 5-2-1-2, when they're so far back, it actually creates more space for you in the middle of the pitch. Remember that. You'll use that in game against the 5-2-1-2, and you'll know what I'm talking about. But that is the 5-2-1-2 left back and right back instruction. Stay back, conservative, and overlap. For both these players, you need to have attacking fullbacks, the D-pad tactic on. If you don't know what D-pad tactics are on, if you don't even know what D-pad tactics are, just put these guys on join the attack. It's pretty much simple as that. Because that means, that means they'll just go forward. If you use a D-pad tactics with stay back while attacking, it overrides this and they go forward. But if you don't know how to use a D-pad tactic, just use join the attack. That way they're just going to go forward as soon as you win the ball. But of course, I use my D-pad tactics for that. Then we go over to the 4-2-3-1 balanced. We've adjusted the width and the depth. We've increased the width just because the driven passes has been nerfed a little bit, and I think allows me to be a bit more wider and cover the wing areas. Before, I used to let my opponents go down the wing and kind of cover the central area first, but now I can be a bit more aggressive as well, because people can't get away with those spamming driven passes going forward as well. So the idea is to be a bit wider and be a bit aggressive. Depth have also increased that a little bit, because don't forget, the through ball meta is still there, but my objective is to be as wide as possible and to be a tad bit high up the pitch. So we're not going to go gung-ho 70 depth, because this is the formation you'll use for most of the game, almost a defensive balance formation. But through balls and L1 triangles are still meta. They're still going to exist after the patch. It's just driven passes that have changed. Just remember that. We got rid of direct passing. I didn't like it. I remember I told you I was experimenting for a week or two. Yeah, I don't like it. I've gone with long ball, fast build up play, long ball and forward runs. I tried fast build up play, didn't like that either. If you want, you can use direct passing, but for my playstyle, I'm sure you guys know, I don't shoot outside the box. I don't cross the ball. I don't score headers. I only shoot inside the box and only shoot, in my eyes, a good goal. So I don't want my players just running forward. I don't want to keep spamming driven passes. It's not part of my play. The width's on 57. I mentioned that before. I wanted between 55 and 60, so I'm at 57. And I still think this is probably the best formation in the game. Stay central, get in behind, and stay forward to get in behind for the striker. All three cams on stay forward. Now, if you are using this as a defensive formation, put this guy on come back and defense. If you're using this for an attacking formation, then put this guy on stay forward. Because I would say my 5-2-1-2 doesn't have CDMs, I consider my 4-2-3-1 a defensive formation. So that is simply why I have my cam on comeback and defense. But of course, if you want to, you can put them on stay forward. Ram on balance, both on comeback. Both CDMs, cut passing lanes, stay back attacking, cover center. Left back, right back, stay back attacking, conservative and overlap. Nothing has changed. There's nothing really that will change with that 4-2-3-1. It'll probably remain consistent up until I release the 4-2-3-1 with the extra striker. That is also coming very soon at the end of this month. The 3-5-2, we didn't go with that. This is the formation I would use. I'll be honest, I still think the 4-2-2. I say, do you know what? I would say these three. Do you know what? I say these. I would say all these formations may potentially not change in any tactics update. That's why I might change the way I do tactics updates now, because I think if you're looking for a meta tactics setup, I think this is the best you can get. Maybe you can argue a more defensive formation as opposed to like a versatile alternate 5-2-1-2. But there's nothing else that beats this. This is the 4-4-2 with the so this is the 4-4-2 or the 4-2-2 with the cam. This is the 4-2-3-1 with the extra striker. This is the 4-1-2-1-2 with the left mid and right mid. It's all the formations you want in one for attacking. The best formation for attacking in the game, in my opinion. The difference between the 5-2-1-2, everyone always asks me, is the 5-2-1-2, these left backs and right backs, they're just extremely wide. And that means that they're basically unmarked. So it spreads your opponent's attack. So if my opponent is parking a bus, I use the 5-2-1-2. The 5-2-1-2 is basically a more attacking variation of the 3-5-2, because you don't have the centre mids, and you don't have CDMs, they're centre mids, so they're high up the pitch, and left back, right back, when they go forward, they're extremely wide, and that's the difference. But you can use attacking fullbacks left, whereas on the 3-5-2, these guys are not fullbacks. You can't leave these guys on stay back while attacking. They have to only be on comeback and defense. So that's the difference between both of those. But we just made some changes, just to change the depth of width a little bit. You can keep it as it was last week, but I'm just testing some things around for next week in preparations for next week's video. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 tactical layouts every single week. I'm going to do a meta tactical layout, and I'm going to do a fun but meta tactical layout as well. Let me know what your opinions are, because I'll be honest, and I just want to have fun. I mean, like I do this, play this game all day, every day, unfortunately, because I don't find the game too fun, because I'm playing it all the time. So in my downtime, I don't really want to play FIFA. Does that make sense? Because I'm working on it all the time. So I don't want to just sit there playing the sweatiest tactics for fun on a weekend league, if that makes sense. But yes, instructions: stay forward, stay central for both strikers. 1 on getting behind. Stay forward for the cam, get inside the box for cross. If you want to make this a bit more defensive, you can leave one of these guys and come back in defense, and it makes it, and you defend in a 5-3-1-1. Left mid, right mid, we put them on comeback and defense. Now we got rid of the cut inside, we got rid of all that nonsense, we just left them unbalanced. Get into the box and get in behind. Simple 3-5-2. The classic one. I still use hug the sidelines with the 3-5-2 and the 5-2-1-2, which takes the formation to another level, as you may have mentioned me do that. If you, what I would say is, if you're struggling with FIFA and you can't attack, use this formation. If you use this formation and you say to me, this formation doesn't work, it's your gameplay. Because this is, as I said to you, this is a 4-4-2 with an extra cam. This is a 4-2-3-1 with an extra striker. So 4-on-2-on-2 narrow with the left and right. So it's basically every formation plus the missing piece, should I say, in every formation. At 4-4-2, you got no cam, you struggle. The cam is there in this one, and you got a 2 CDM. So if you can't score with this formation, it's probably that you're frustrated or that you're rushing your gameplay. I would strongly advise you to stop running with the ball, and that way you can avoid getting caught out of possession, etc., etc. Cut passing lane, stay back, cover center. Of course, you know, one of the center mids join the attack by putting them on get forward if you want to, and overlap just the same as the 5-2-1-2. And then we go to the 4-4-2. I'll be honest, I use press after possession loss, but because I don't use this formation that much, I only use it when I'm losing. I do go to constant pressure, but sometimes I do like to use press after possession loss. We changed the width and depth a little bit just to be a bit higher up the pitch, so that's why I've gone back. Team press is the same as constant pressure, but it's just that constant pressure stays on constantly and it applies a bit more pressure than team press. That's the best way. So you can argue team press is like 85 to 90% of what constant pressure is. So I used to use press after possession loss and use team press to aid performance. If I'm really losing, I just pause the game and activate constant pressure manually, and I just turn this to constant pressure. So that's why I leave it like this, because sometimes I go into a game and I want to beat, let's say some of my opponents holding the ball, let's say that I'm losing 1-0. I go to this formation and I press pretty conservatively, because the problem is with this layout, the only problem is that these two formations, they're like 5 backs. When you're off the ball, you don't have the 4 in the midfield. So you can press with the 4-2-3-1. But because I got these guys, sometimes I come back in defense. Sometimes when I'm streaming, I'm not paying too much attention. I'm a bit lazy, to be honest. So I use the 4-4-2 and I kind of rely on AI to kind of help me a little bit. If you guys struggle with teammate containing on a very high level, or you struggle with pressing, then this is a good formation for you to use. We put long ball forward runs on. This is a formation. We would decrease the width exponentially because they're nerfing the driven passes. So I don't really want my left mid and right mid as wide as they were, and I can always use hug the sidelines anyway. The idea was I wanted to spread my opponents back and I wanted to ping driven passes around. But since that's changed, I thought there's no need to really have the high width anymore. And for the instructions, we have one striker on stay forward, other one on come back in defense, one them on getting behind the player that's on come back in defense. That way when he runs forward and he still gets it behind if you are on a final third. Left mid, right mid, come back in defense. The rest on default, even support on crosses. One centre mid on balance, stay cover centre, the other one on stay back. So the idea is we have an extra man during the attack when we are going forward. In fact, you can actually use this formation for the entire game as well. It's something that you can do. But this will probably be changed when we go to... So when I make those 2 new videos, let me know what you think about those 2 new video types. You know, I was thinking of... So what I'm thinking of doing, I'll give you a bit of an insight. So I'm thinking... Fridays I upload the weekly tactics, the meta tactics for the I'm gonna call it the rank 1 elite division tactics. That's what I'm gonna call it, okay? Because that's gonna to make it distinctively clear. That's a try hard tactics, and then I'm gonna have a fun tactic set up that I may release on about Tuesday-ish. And the idea behind that is that it's still going to be meta tactics, but there'll be a bit more fun. So you'll see a bit more of the 5-2-1-2s, the 4-2-1 with the strikers, the 4-3-2-1s, the 4-3-1-2s, etc., etc. But stay back while attacking, conservative on left back and right back. People always ask me this question: why aren't both of these players on stay forward? Well, you kind of want to defend in a 4-4-1-1. You can't in this FIFA 20. They patched that. But I want my one player to be just behind. And the reason for this is that when you make a pass to your striker, if there's 2 players like this, sometimes being in a vertical line, it's not helpful. You kind of want them to be a bit disjointed, because that way also allows your opponent's defensive line to not be in line. Because if they're together like this, let's say like this, then your opponent's back 4 can be like that. His left back, center back can just push up. But if one guy is disjointed, it gives that player that bit of freedom. and actually create some more space for your team. That's the reason why. And also, when you're pressing, you want all your players to be behind the ball so you can press in the unit. If you're up against any half decent player, they will know you got two players on stay forward, and they'll play in between the lines, and they'll hold the ball in this region, and you'll get frustrated and you'll pull a guy out like that and you'll be in trouble. Yes, the pros can do it because they use teammate contain and they trap bringing the strikers back, but you may not be able to not know how to do that effectively. So that is one thing I would say. But that is the tactics. Centre backs on default. That is the tactics. I hope you enjoyed this video. And as I said, the balanced tactics, they're not actually tactics that I use. This is my kickoff tactics. Do you see that? My kickoff. So I just play this just for chemistry purposes. And then what I do is in game, I then make the change. So in game, I then, for example, go here, and then I then change to, for example, defensive, attack, or check it in the game. So I don't actually use this formation. What you can do is you can put all these guys on comeback and offense, and you can treat it like an anti-kickoff formation. You can see everyone's on stay back while attacking. And if you want to, you can even drop between defenders as well, so that way you make a back five to help you against the kickoff. Because if you your opponent starts the game first, then of course you will get kickoffed. And the benefit of that formation is you have that bit of a safety net, that back five, and that's what I really like, especially when you go forwards. You don't get countered to your counter on kickoff, if that makes sense. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. Please let me know down below in the description what you think about the two tactical layout of fun meta and then just the pure meta tactics. Let me know and we'll make those videos every single week. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Take it easy, and of course, I'll catch you next time. Peace out. And of course, sorry, just before I forget, Fridays I'll be moving the tactics videos, the weekly tactics to Friday. That way you can use it and try it out before you play your weekend league. Because now I understand on tactics on Saturdays a bit too late, but sometimes I change my tactics all the way up to like Saturday. So just bear that in mind. And then what I'll do is for example, yes, uploaded a 4-2-3-1 second variation. That is more of a defensive formation. As I said, you can slot that into this system as well. The idea is I want you to use what you're comfortable with and interswap it into my system, because not everyone can play with a back three. You might sit there and say, you know what, I can't play with a back three. So you might say, okay, you know what, 5-2-1-2 is good. I may want my 4-2-3-1 second variation, or my 4-3-3 here, 4-2-3-1, 5-2-1-2, or even a 4-3-1-2 here, and a 4-4-2. So the idea is you could just slot what you like and you can just replace it, if that means like a quick swap. And then what I'll do is I'll release the new tactics videos on Saturday. And that way you could just try them out during the rest of the week. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.